Hi everyone, welcome back to Mason's Cavies, and today is Vet Day. So our lovely vet Adele comes to visit us and the herd at least once a month, depending on what we need. And I need a couple of members of my herd checking out. Nothing serious, and obviously we have the 6 rescue girls which need a thorough check over. So in front of us is Jodie. She's one of my rescues from 2023, and she's a really shy little girl, but she keeps coming out in patches of fungal. She has been treated several times in the past with oral antifungal medication, but it just doesn't seem to be enough to keep it at bay. And I was wondering if perhaps something was going on that was making her feel unwell, which means she's coming out in this fungal. Because we've had pigs that have come out in it in the past that have ended up having cancer, and when their immune system's weakened, they come out in these fungals. I thought, oh, better get her checked over, but she's perfectly healthy. So we ended up having the discussion of, is it because she's so shy and so timid that perhaps she's getting picked on in the herd? Now, she doesn't have any bite wounds on her, and there's no evidence, and I haven't seen anybody giving her a hard time. But what we decided to do was put her on a longer course of oral antifungal medication, and then pop her on one of the quiet top platforms with the quiet piggies to see if that stops her from getting stressed. Otherwise, we're not really sure why she keeps coming out in this fungal, but it is definitely worth the shot. So she passed the physical examination with flying colours. So it's nothing nasty or nothing sinister that's causing her to constantly come out in these fungal infections. So that's what we're going to do. She's got a month-long course of oral antifungal medication, and we're going to pop her on a much quieter platform and hope have a much happier piggy by the end of it. So another one of my piggies that I need looking at is one of my OAPs, and this is Penelope. And she is one of Rebecca's pigs that I took on a few years ago now. Now, she's come out in little lumps on her back end. I was pretty sure that they were some kind of cyst or abscess. Now, if you don't like sharp, pointy objects, please scroll away now. So it was found out that after putting a pin in it, that it wasn't an abscess. The stuff that came out was black, not like a cheesy substance that you get in abscesses, which would suggest it was some kind of cyst. Now, that spray that you see Adele using there is a numbing spray. Works really, really well so that you can end up, stabbing your piggies without hurting them. We don't want no pain. And you can see what's coming out of there is literally just black gunk. Now, basically what it is like an ingrown hair that has just got infected and bleh, nasty. Me, this kind of stuff doesn't bother me, but I know some people really don't like it. But me, I'm like, oh, that's just, yes. I'm disgusting, really. So Penelope had a couple of those drained. She'll be absolutely fine if they come back. It's not a big issue. She'll be absolutely fine. I did want her to have a physical examination as well, because she's a particularly grumpy pig. She likes her personal space, and she does tend to get a bit stroppy if anybody goes near her. Now, it's not a huge personality change for her. She has been like this pretty much since we took her on, but I thought, considering her age, she's about 6 years old now, if not a little bit older. So you can sometimes get cysts that develop and cause your guinea pigs hormonal changes and problems, and obviously we don't want that. I'm pleased to say that her physical examination was absolutely fine. There's no signs of any cysts, and Penelope had completely had enough of it and wanted to go back in the carrier to go back out to the herd. I'm not impressed with this vet doctor. Tell her to bugger off. Thank you very much. Now it's time to move on to the rescue girls, and I honestly didn't expect this to go as bad as it did. I knew they were poorly. Obviously, I did urine samples and found a lot of kidney problems. I have spoken to Adele about that, and I'll explain a bit more about that later on. Now, this little girl is particularly unwell. She sounds quite rough. She's got quite snotty eyes. And after a physical examination, her lymph nodes are swollen under her neck and under her armpits. Now, this can be an indication of an infection known as streptococcus. Now, my herd has had this before, and it is deadly. It will wipe through so many pigs. I don't want anybody to panic, okay? Her lymph nodes are only slightly swollen, so it could be that she's heading into a streptococcus breakout, or that she's had it and she's at the tail end of it. So we need to treat this with caution, and she is on now the appropriate medication for her eyes and, say, this issue that she's having with her lymph nodes. She doesn't look particularly great. She's not the worst by far, but she doesn't look particularly well. She is underweight as well, which we expected, and I am pleased to confirm that she is not expecting any babies, which is just the best news ever, because these girls have just been so mistreated that the thought of them having any more pups is just awful. So this is Adele telling me now that she's got swollen lymph nodes, and that's making her a bit twitchy, is the word she used, because streptococcus can kill guinea pigs very, very quickly, and it is incredibly contagious. So these girls are going to be in a quarantine period for a long time until we can confirm that this girl in particular, that everything is back to normal. Excuse me, human, I did not ask for a dodgy haircut. So she needs quite a bit of medication. She needs 2 different types of antibiotic, and she also needs some ointment for her eyes to help with that stickiness. So thankfully, one of these medicines tastes really, really nice. It's really sweet and quite sticky. So I've not known a guinea pig to turn this one down. If you watch her little lips, yeah, she loves it. The next one, mate, I'm sorry, is not quite so nice. It's just normal Baytril, and it's a bit bleh, but she's got to take it. So this little girl is by far the worst. The conjunctivitis on her is so bad. Her eyes are literally stuck shut. It's horrible. She's just got no life in her at all. Honestly, it's heartbreaking to watch her. She just looks terrible. And if you was to pick her up, she looks like she's pregnant. She's got the proper round shape. So Adele's just feeling her lymph nodes there because of the other little girl and the worry of streptococcus. Thankfully, hers are okay. But her eyes smell really bad. You can smell the infection. And we wasn't sure if she could feel babies. So the plan was to scan all these girls anyway. I'd rather know what's going on than just wait. And this is where you learn that Adele, the vet, has a terrible poker face. She'd lose so much money, honestly, if she had to play a game of poker. Right, watch her face. Watch. Right about now. Yeah, she sucks. She sucks at poker. So this is the ultrasound, and I'm not the best at reading these, but I'm going to point to it in a second. This is a massive polycystic ovary. It measures over 7 centimetres in length. Now, we have a problem in that if this ruptures, it will kill the guinea pig immediately. But she is not well enough and in no fit state to go through a spay because she'll die on the table. So what we've decided to do is try our best to give her at least a week on the appropriate medication to get her feeling better. And then hopefully she will survive. We really are in a bit of a catch-22. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But I've got to give her a chance. And the best chance I can give her is to try and get her condition up a little bit before I put her through such a big surgery. Now, this little girl, we were losing hope at this point because the first 2 rescues were so poorly. Thankfully, this one passed with flying colours. Yes, she is very underweight and she's obviously had a lot of pups, but her lymph nodes are fine, her breathing is fine, and there is no signs of pregnancy. So that is just, made us feel a little bit better after a rough couple of rescues. She literally just needs a little bit of eye ointment in one of her eyes that is a little bit sticky. Other than that, no aches and pains. She's in pretty good nick. Just got to fatten her up. I don't mind doing that. So a little bit of eye ointment for her. She'll be absolutely fine. So woohoo! So this little rescue is one that came with the eye ulcer. I've managed to get that under control and it's practically gone now, which is great. She is suffering, again, with a little bit of stickiness of the eyes. That I would expect most of them to have that anyway because they've all been living together and these kind of things are contagious. So she needs some eye ointment. I did think she was pregnant because of her shape and she feels particularly large in the abdomen. Thankfully, She is not pregnant. She does have very small cysts, but they're nothing like the other rescue with the polycystic ovaries. It's not an urgent job, something that we perhaps need to keep an eye on, and if they grow or cause any problems, then we will obviously get them removed. But at the moment, she's pretty feisty. She's got quite a lot of life in her. She's not like the others that are just kind of sitting and existing. She does seem quite like a happy pig, so that's a good thing. So other than a teeny weeny bit of eye ointment, she should be absolutely fine. Although it may take her a while to recover from the dodgy haircut given from the vet. She doesn't claim to be a hairdresser, mate, alright? She doesn't claim to be a hairdresser. So with a clear ultrasound, free of pregnancy, woohoo! She could just get some nice eye drops and she'll be right as rain real soon. Next is everyone's favourite rescue. This is Mrs. Potts, and Adele fell in love with her as well. She's got such a cute little face. She just looks so pretty. So she is one that I wasn't massively concerned about. She looks really good. Her eyes are nice and bright. There's no breathing problems. There's no stickiness. She's quite a good weight. She's a little bit thin on the back end, but that's probably because she's had a heck of a lot of babies. And obviously her urine sample didn't come back particularly great either. So while we're on that subject, I've spoken to Adele, and apparently sometimes when breeders want guinea pigs to have a lot of babies and want them to grow very quickly, they give them a high protein diet. So it could be that these urine samples have come back with high protein because they're used to that kind of diet. It's been in their system and it's just kind of made a mess of their kidneys a little bit. Now, hopefully it should sort itself out, but I'll do another test in a couple of weeks to rule out any kidney issues. Fingers crossed, but sometimes very bad interbred guinea pigs can come with these kind of issues anyway. So I will keep you posted on the new urine samples that I take in maybe about 4 weeks' time. So Mrs. Potts had to have an ultrasound as well because Adele wasn't sure if she could feel a dodgy shaped kidney or a baby. I know. Look at this. Everyone fell in love with Mrs. Potts. She's so cute, but she fetches a gorgeous haircut, the same as everybody else. I think she pulls it off a little bit better, though. Look at that little round belly. Oh, it's so cute. So, bets on. Are we going to get through everybody not having babies? That'd be nice, wouldn't it, eh? Of course not, is the answer to that. Of course not. Of course we found a baby, a little chip, in Mrs. Potts. You can see there is a spine and a rib cage, and if you look, it's going to wiggle. There you go. That is Mrs. Potts' little chip, cooking away nicely. We only managed to find one baby, thankfully, but fingers crossed everything goes smoothly. Now, this little girl I wasn't worried about at all. She's so much younger than the other rescues, and she's in real good nick. She doesn't have any snotty eyes. She's nice and bright and lively and active. Just wanted to confirm whether they could feel any signs of pregnancy. She seems absolutely fine. Breathing is perfect. No signs of any babies, which is great because she's just not big enough to have them. She's only little herself. So she passed the vet examination with flying colours. Woohoo! And I thought while we were here, we better get my fatto checked out. This is Demi, and people on live videos tell me all the time, get Demi checked out. I think she's got cysts because she looks really, really rounded. It's a combination of the two. She does have cysts, but they're only very, very small, and it's unlikely that they're contributing to her shape. She is just a big pig. But while she's happy eating, isn't particularly hormonal, isn't nasty with members of the herd, the cysts that were found can be left, and we will keep an eye on them, and if they need to be removed, then obviously we will. After all of that, I need a bloody cup of tea. Whew.